Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chet here from Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area. We are a digital agency that helps other digital agencies scale up. Today, I'm going to talk about. This is my series called Digital Agencies, and within this series, I actually talk about the typical problems that a lot of digital agencies face. So one of the things we've done in the last couple of years is we have helped small digital agencies scale up. It's a very unique market. Agencies in the size of 250,000 to about $1 million annual in turnover. I read some study somewhere which said that actually that segment, that 250,000 annual to 1 million, that's actually the most difficult bump for most agencies to cross. Most of the agencies, I think 75 to 80% of digital agencies actually fall within that spectrum. And that actually is the spectrum which is extremely difficult. That spectrum is extremely difficult for agencies to cross over. So today I'm going to talk about what are the typical pain points that these agencies see. The first is growth, right? So most agencies typically start off on a pretty good growth curve, but at some point they just plateau out, right? I don't know why that's the case, but I've seen that in a lot of agencies. The first 5 years they have really good growth, and then they just kind of plateau out. That's the first. Second is client churn, right? We live in an age where there's almost zero client loyalty, right? It's very difficult to create client loyalty. Everyone is extremely price competitive. There's online marketplaces like Guru.com, Upwork, Fiverr, and everyone's looking to save money. So getting clients to stay loyal and stay with you is extremely difficult. So there's a lot of client churn. Third is talent. This goes without saying. Especially in the US now with the unemployment rates, less than 3%, it's very difficult to get good talent, and it's even more difficult to, if you have good talent, for that talent to stick around. So everyone's shopping around for talent. Now, what's happening in tech is that most of the best talent always gets mopped up by the bigger companies, right? The Googles, the Facebooks, the Netflix, all these bigger companies, and even the bigger agencies. So a lot of times smaller agencies struggle with talent, right? There's just not enough talent available for these agencies. Next is profitability and cash flow. A lot of times in small agencies, there's usually profitability issues because projects are not spec'd out well, and there's also a lot of competition, right? So, I have seen a lot of small agency owners actually do projects almost sometimes at break even because they just want to keep the wheels churning. They want to keep the light bulb on. But what that does is that you're operating on a very thin margin, and this is a business which is extremely competitive, and most projects end up with some kind of a scope creep. So if you do not have, if you've not factored in a 15 to 20% kind of buffer for scope creep on the project, if you're coding projects which are really at a bare minimum kind of level, then you're going to struggle with profitability issues, right? Same for cash flow. This industry is notorious for cash flow issues, right? A lot of your clients will pay the advance, and then they'll forget about your project, and then you keep following up with them for payment. Or sometimes they're like, I will pay once everything is complete, and so you're stuck with a project, and you have to complete 2, 3, 4 different milestones before you get paid. So a lot of agencies struggle with cash flow issues. Final, and this is extremely kind of pertinent in the AI age, a lot of agencies actually struggle with keeping up with tech, because tech by itself is moving so fast. I remember when I started in 2004, WordPress was the hot new thing, right? And boom, before we know it, by 2014 it was apps, and now in 2024 it's AI. So everything's like moving so fast, and agencies are kind of struggling to keep up with tech, because what is happening is that you will get clients who come in and request, can you add AI to my website? Can you add AI to my app? And a lot of times you have no clue how to do that. So everyone's struggling. A lot of owners are struggling with tech. And another thing is that a lot of the agency owners are themselves not technical, so they struggle even more with how they can kind of service these requests. One of the solutions that we always recommend for this is that work with a very good partner, work with a very good vendor, a vendor who can come in and actually be a force multiplier for you, right? Now everyone's and this is a big it's a very contentious issue, right? Because most agency owners have tried offshoring, it has not worked out for them. And we all know in the US, talent is so difficult to find that it's not affordable. So finding a good vendor is always something which is it's there's a little bit of luck involved, but it's always a very difficult proposition. But if you find a good vendor, if you find a good partner who can deliver your projects, you can actually solve, that's the panacea for a lot of these problems. And I'll tell you why. For example, growth, right? When you have a good vendor, right, you don't have to worry about project management. So you can completely focus on selling and marketing. You're not worried about housekeeping issues, right? Client churn. Again, when you have a vendor who's delivering well, clients will keep coming back to you, right? Also, you have more time to engage with the clients now that you're not managing projects, you're not doing the housekeeping. Third is talent. Again, if you have a good vendor, that solves the talent issue, because the talent problem is not the vendor's problem, it's not your problem. Profitability and cash flow. This is the part where having a vendor works out best, because having a vendor, having kind of subbing the project out to a vendor kind of make sure that your profitability is ensured, and you're going to pay him only when you get paid, right? So this, which is the biggest issue in most agencies that I've seen, is that at the end of the month there's really no cash falling into the till, because it's most agency owners typically work like a bank, right? There's money coming in, but there's money going out, and there's nothing left in the till. So having a good partner ecosystem actually solves this problem. And lastly, keeping up with the tech. Again, like the talent issue, if you have a good vendor, keeping up with the tech is the vendor's problem, it's not your problem. So you can really expand your portfolio, you can expand your portfolio of services, because you can actually work with a lot of, so for example, if it's AI, you can work with vendors who have experience in AI, right? You don't need to just work with one vendor, you can have multiple vendors, right? So I always say, have a Rolodex of partners, of vendors, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep farming out projects to all of them. I've actually met agency owners who take pride in saying that I don't work with vendors, and I think that's not a good strategy. I think that's actually a pretty destructive strategy, because if your best dev leaves, or if you cannot find a recruit to come in on a new project, then you're going to lose a client forever. So diversify your vendor base, have a lot of vendors on your Rolodex, and that'll actually be the key to your success. The world has changed since the pandemic 100%, and we are seeing more volatility both on the client side and on the recruitment side, and definitely a good way to beat that is through a really good vendor relationship. So this was my little video. It's an 8-part series about the pain points in agencies, small agencies, and how you can solve those. Thank you so much. I hope you like the content. If you like it, press like. If you want to subscribe, press subscribe. Here at Avion Technology, we are in the Chicagoland area, and we've helped a lot of smaller agencies scale up. So I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you.